Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after they just announced they will franchise tag their Pro Bowl wide receiver Chris Godwin. But before we get into that topic, question for those of you watching: who is the all-time leader in interceptions for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in franchise history? If you know the answer, comment below. If you do not, I will reveal the answer at the end. But looking at this topic, Buccaneers have just franchise tagged Chris Godwin. Like I said, what does this mean for Godwin? What does it mean for the Bucs overall, and so on? But really, if I'm being honest, I don't think it was a good move by the Buccaneers. I actually think it could be considered a mistake because you're now going to have to be paying Chris Godwin whatever the franchise tag number is. It hasn't been announced yet, but I'm assuming it'll be right around $14-15 million if I'm not mistaken. So that will be a costly price for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think it's a mistake because of your receiving core. That is probably your top area on your team that has the most depth and most talent, and it doesn't need Chris Godwin, in my opinion. If you think about it, you have Mike Evans, Scotty Miller, and Tyler Johnson, all under contract. Tyler Johnson, a young rookie that Tom Brady's very fond of, and I think Gronk will come back because he won't play anywhere else but with Brady. And I think Antonio Brown will come back on a discount or on a highly incentive-based contract because he wants to play with Tom Brady. So really, if you bring back all those guys, you have 5 receivers that are very solid, that Tom Brady trusts. They all have hands, they all have speed, they all have talent. And Chris Godwin, of course, would be a nice addition, and I'm not complaining too much. But for the cost, I don't think Chris Godwin is worth it. Because of that $14-15 million, you need to address it elsewhere, where it could go towards bringing back Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski, while it might not be possible now because it might have been Antonio Brown and Gronk or just Chris Godwin. They might have just made the decision because Antonio Brown and Gronk, coming off 2 winning years of a Super Bowl, they're going to be a little bit pricier, which is expected, but they weren't going to be $14-15 million like Chris Godwin. So he might cost the team of signing AB and Gronk back. We will see, though. Or it might cost them from signing Shaq Barret on the defense, or Lavonte David on the defense, or Ndamukong Suh on the defense, or Leonard Fournette in the backfield. A lot of money is being, I don't want to say wasted, but used in this Chris Godwin franchise tag. They had roughly $30 million in free cap space, but they had a lot of free agents, like I said, in AB, Gronk, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Ndamukong Suh, Lavonte David, Shaq Barret. You wanted to bring a lot of those guys back, and you didn't want to have to use all the money on one player, and you used about half of it on one player. Yes, I think Tom Brady will renegotiate. Yes, I think they'll restructure some other guys. Yeah, they might even release Cameron Brate or O.J. Howard, 2 tight ends, in order to save them $6 million each. They might release their left tackle, Donovan Smith, who's due for, I believe, $14 million. So they might be able to make some, cut some corners here and there, but I do think Chris Godwin is not worth that $15 million. Not to say not worth it in general. He has the talent to be worth that, to be paid that in the NFL, but I wanted him to go to a team that can afford to give him a huge contract, that are in desperate need of a receiver, like the Jaguars, like the Jets, like the Colts, and those other teams that have big money and are just an X-factor receiver away. When the Bucs, of course, like I said, Chris Godwin, I'm glad we have him on the Buccaneers, but to me, the money could have been used elsewhere. I wanted to see go towards the defense primarily, keeping Lavonte David. Yes, I think Devin White is an amazing linebacker and can fill Lavonte David's shoes, but if I can have both, I'd rather have both of those guys lead the front 7 and be the captains of that defense. I wanted Shaq Barret to come back to lead that defensive front in that pass rush. Yes, you got JPP and Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh if you bring him back, because I do think Suh wants to play with Brady again. He wants to repeat with the Bucs. He just got his first ring. He's had his money, his career. He's worried about more rings right now. So I do think he'll come back. I don't want to say on a cheap contract. He'll still make millions, but on a cheaper contract compared to what he's made in the past of his career. And I wanted to keep those 3 guys and then keep Shaq Barret. Yeah, there's William Golston as well on the defensive front that comes in and out at times, but Shaq Barret is the bread and butter to that defense outside of JPP. Those are the 2 main guys. I wanted to see us keep both of them. JPP was under contract, but Shaq Barret really helps him out a lot, because if Shaq Barret gets double teamed, that means leaves just one-on-one for JPP, and he wins that matchup a lot of the time. So now, though, with Chris Godwin taking up a lot of that money, we might not be able to sign Shaq Barret, and that is a big loss to me, in my opinion, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I kind of see it as a mistake now. If they can somehow pull it off where they keep them all still, and Tom Brady's willing to take $5 million off his paycheck. Mike Evans said he'll renegotiate. They cut O.J. Howard and save him $6 million. You release Donovan Smith. You all of a sudden have an extra $25 million in cap space. Fine, I understand that, and do what you do. Obviously, they're GMs. Obviously, the Buccaneers are a successful franchise this past year. They know what they're doing. They know more than me, so I'm sure there's some strategy moving forward. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, if this Chris Godwin signing cost the loss of Shaq Barret, it was not worth it. If it was down to those two are going to cost the most money on the free agent market. I would have taken Shaq Barret over Chris Godwin just because of the level of talent we already have in the receiving core. Like I said, in Mike Evans, AB, Rob Gronkowski, Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller, and even Cameron Brate and OJ Howard, when healthy, are pretty good targets as well. That's pretty much their entire receiving core, and I haven't even mentioned Chris Godwin. They don't exactly need him. Of course, keep saying it, he will help, but the defensive line needed more help, in my opinion. The defense is really what won a lot of games for the Buccaneers late in the postseason against Aaron Rodgers, against Drew Brees, against Patrick Mahomes. They were able to get pressure and blitz on Patrick Mahomes without blitzing, always only rushing for and always getting pressure and always being able to drop back safeties to double team Kelsey, to double team Hill. And that's what you want to see them do again. And if you lose Shaq Barret, you won't be able to get pressure on a top quarterback with just rushing for. You will need a blitz, and therefore you sacrifice a safety, not be on a double team, and that is where success kind of falls. Yes, you still have a great team overall, no matter what happens. If you only keep some of the free agents, say they only pull off AB and only pull off Gronk and Godwin and Fournette, and they lose Levante David and Shaq Barret and Sue, you still have a great team in JPP, in Vita Vea, in Antoine Winfield Jr., in the top rookie on that team, rookie safety, and Devin White, of course. So you're still a good defense, and whatever you lost, such as Shaq Barret or Levante David, you can address in the NFL draft. That is always an option as well, and you can even address other guys in free agency. But to me, I wanted to see the Buccaneers keep what they had and go back-to-back with pretty much the same roster. Now, if they go out and lose Shaq Barret because of this Chris Godwin signing, but replace him with like a Von Miller, scratch it all, that's completely fine. But I just want to see, the Buccaneers address what they need the most, and that, to me, is keeping that defensive side of the football. And the offense, I think Tom Brady, greatest quarterback of all time, he could have dealt without Chris Godwin, been just fine. I hope they keep playoff Lenny, but even if not, they still have Ronald Jones, a very viable back. Overall, like I said, I like Chris Godwin. I'm a Buccaneers fan. I'm not completely disappointed in this move. I just think there are better options out there. However, a lot of free agency left, a lot of offseason left. They could be able to pull it off and sign everyone still. We will have to see. I still don't know the exact number on the franchise tag, so that can determine it. And who knows? Like I said, a lot of these guys might be wanting to play on discounted instead of incentive-like contracts in order to play with Brady and play with the Buccaneers again and go back-to-back, like AB, like Gronk, like Fournette, like Sue, and like other players on that team. I'm really excited to see how it goes. I think the Buccaneers will probably pull off something that I'm just not thinking of, but we will have to see. Right now, solid move, but I do think there could have been better options. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think the franchise tag was the right move? Do you think they should have let Godwin walk? So on and so forth. Like I said, comment down below what you think. For your question of the video, the all-time leader in interceptions for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is, of course, Rondé Barber with 47 interceptions, one of the top cornerbacks for the Buccaneers of all time. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune away.